Howdy, everybody. Welcome to Junk Monkey Live. This is a place where resellers come to hang out and ask questions and, just hang out and have fun with one another. Tonight, I don't have any real talking points. I'm going to be doing a little bit of listing on eBay, and I'll be sharing my screen with you while I'm doing that. And maybe answering some questions, showing how I do eBay listings and why I do them that way. So come along with me. Maybe we'll learn something. If nothing else, we'll just hang out with one another. Hey, Tina, how are you? Ping. Christopher, good to see you, man. How is everybody tonight? So, yeah, like I said in my intro there, I really don't have any talking points. I've had my nose on the grindstone for the last several days since the last live. And luckily tonight I did get to eat dinner before we started the show, but just barely finished in time. Yeah, we had a little snow on the ground this morning, Tina, but it melted pretty quick. We've been getting a little bit of snow here and there. The big bad snowstorms have all been in the mountains and hills above the valley where I live. Marie, we got less than an inch and didn't last half a day. But we did get some cold temperatures. The last several nights, it's got down to the mid to upper 20s. So yeah, we didn't really even have a whole lot of wind. Just a little bit of cold, a little bit of snow, a little bit of freezing rain. Up during the day, it would kind of mix with rain. It is just that miserable late winter type weather. Hopefully, it'll start warming up again here soon. Huh. San Bernardino is a pretty big place. I'm sure they got food. Let's see. I don't know that we had any snow on the ground today, but I know we didn't have some yesterday. The day before it had snowed and sleeted and freezing rain kind of all day, but it didn't start sticking until the sun went down. And even then, it didn't really start sticking until 10, 11 o'clock at night. So did anybody make any good finds this week or good sales this week? I did make one good find yesterday, a decent find. Lately, VCRs and combo units have been hard for me to find, and that is generally one of my top 3 to 5 best sellers. Yesterday, I found a Sony VHS player, VCR, with the remote and bought it for $9, brought it home, tested it, cleaned it, listed it, and or drafted it. And this morning, I listed it, and it sold within an hour of me listing it for $70. My sales have been spotty. I've got 2 or 3 no sales days over the past week or so, but the days in between, I make decent sales. Have not setting the world on fire, but as long as the money's moving, I don't mind a day off from shipping now and then. Red Wing steel toe boots, picked them up for 10, sold them for 85 plus ship. That is not bad. I picked up a pair of steel toe Red Wing safety tennis shoes today, sneakers, athletic looking shoes, but they're steel toe. Picked those up today, and I think I paid 10 for them. I haven't listed them. I expect to get about 75 for them. About the only thing I've ever found to combat slow sales is listing. And the easiest way to do that is to have a draft bank. And right now, my draft bank is way down. I've normally got somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50 or a whole week's worth of listing in a draft bank. But when sales are slow, every couple of hours, I go in and list 2 or 3. And that seems to help. Ping, did you shut your warehouse down or did you just bring a bunch of stuff home? I think right now for a number of drafts, I've got 16 drafts right now. So not a whole lot going on. And a lot of those are older listings that I pulled so I can sell similar. Oh, I did find something good at the bins on Monday. I found a KitchenAid food processor. Now, I didn't grab the whole processor. I just grabbed the bowl and all the parts and pieces because the motor is stinking heavy and it doesn't sell for very much money. So I just grabbed all the parts off of it, left the heavy motor there, bought the rest of it. I listed the main bowl today, a couple of hours ago, and within an hour, it sold for $40 plus ship. And I think my entire haul at the bins on Monday was only $24 or $25. Now, one of the ways that I add to my draft bank is every January, I'll do a thing where I will put anything that's over a year old, any listing that's over a year old, I'll put it on a 30% off sale. And then every morning, during the month of January, I will look at my seller hub, go to my listings that are ending that day, and anything that is part of that sale and it hasn't sold yet, I'll go ahead and end that listing. And then I'll go through the list of ended listings, and anything I think should have sold, I will sell similar and save it as a draft. And then I will go in and I'll look at the pictures, see if I can update the pictures, some better lighting, different angles. I'll look at my item specifics, my descriptions, and one of the biggest things that bites me is the shipping. Sometimes I will mess the shipping up. Something recently, I forget what it was, but it was in one of my year-old listings that just hadn't sold. Turns out I had hit, when I hit the 2 for the pounds, I kind of hit 2 buttons at the same time, and I put it in as 23 pounds. And I had that one on calculated shipping for some reason. But yeah, it didn't sell. I fixed the problem, relisted it, and sold within a couple of days. When you're listing a whole bunch, inevitably you're going to make a mistake sooner or later. And that mistake is going to cost that item to either not sell or sell for really low money and cause a problem. I had this happen to me a few days ago. I was going through my list of active listings, and I had one. It was a watch, a Movado watch, a vintage watch. It is probably a $400 to $500 watch, and I had it listed for $500. And a couple of months goes by, it hasn't sold. So I dropped it to $450. A couple of more months goes by, it still hasn't sold. I'm like, I really don't have that much money in it. So I dropped it to $399, or so I thought. Within an hour of that listing sold, and I went and looked, it had sold for $3.99. So I immediately contacted the buyer and told him, look, this is a typo. It's an error. I cannot sell you this watch for $3.99. Well, he messaged me back and says, make sure you pack it well and do not polish it and blah, blah, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you don't understand. I am not selling you this watch for $3.99. I cannot do that. I have no choice but to end or cancel this order. I'm not selling you my watch. It's $400 or $500 watch. You're not getting it for $4. Anyway, he finally allowed me to cancel the order, so it didn't count against me. But those just little mistakes like that can cost you. Hopefully it's the other way, and you just have to find out later down the road that you had it priced too high, you had something wrong with your shipping, anything that you can fix that's easy and you can get it sold, and not the other way around where you accidentally sell it for too much money. For instance, a few months back, I had a pair of shoes on and I was able to send out an offer on it. Well, I had sent out an offer earlier for one of my expensive watches, and I had turned the percentage off and made an offer amount. I forgot to change it back to percentage, and I thought I had sent somebody a 5% off offer. Turns out I sold them a pair of shoes for $5. That one I wasn't even going to fight. I just went ahead and sent him his shoes for $5 plus shipping and told him I had done it. So, I think I even put something on Instagram about that one. But it's those little mistakes that can cost us one way or the other. Either way, it's money not coming into our pockets. Let's see what I missed while I was rattling on. Not reading any of the lease. Yeah, $1,200 a month adds up pretty quick, Ping. It filled up your garage, 3 bedrooms, and the family room. Girl, you need to have a sale and make yourself a little room. I kind of wish I had a warehouse space, but around here in Medford, Oregon, it's tough finding something that's any kind of decent, worth having, that's affordable. Nothing within the town itself is great. And you have to be careful even in the outlying areas, because the Rogue Valley is, and Medford especially, is kind of overrun with, a criminal element that live in our streets. And they break into anything and everything if they don't think anybody's watching. So you kind of have to be real careful about leasing spaces like that, because some of them are not very secure. Yeah, I normally do it by percentage. I used to have a sliding scale at the beginning of the month, 5%. In the following week, 10%. The week after that, 15%. And then the last week of the month, I'd send out 20% offers. I've kind of stopped doing that. I ended up selling a lot of things for a good bit less than what I should have. And 5% just doesn't work. You send somebody a 5% offer and it kind of insults them. You're not getting that much money off at 5%. So 10% is where I'm at. Right now, I'm paying $175 a month for a 10 by 20. So yeah, a couple of years ago, I had a 10 by 20 and I was only paying $75 a month. And we had originally got it for $50 a month on a move-in special or something. Yeah, Tina, it depends on what it is. If, like, for instance, the Tiffany and Company watch that I listed last week while we were here on the live, I listed it for $11,111.11. I was able to send an offer out on that watch today, and instead of doing a percentage off, because 5% of $11,000 adds up pretty quick, I sent a $10,500 offer. Yeah, Ping, that's what I do now. I don't mess with the 5% offers anymore, but I'm not going to send out 20% offers anymore. Now, I explained to you guys what I did with year-old listings in January. In February, I did something a little different to help me redo some of my listings. I ran a list markdown sale for anything that's been listed for over 90 days. And the year-old stuff, a lot of that went away. I literally took a truckload of dead items that were just not going to sell, and a bunch of trash. But I literally hauled a truckload to the dump. I went from close to 800 or 900 listings down to about 350 listings pretty quick. Anyway, in February, I did a a 15% off sale for anything that's been listed for over 90 days. And again, every morning while I'm drinking my coffee, I'll get in there, I'll go through the list of ending today items, and anything that was part of that sale, I'll go ahead and delist that stuff, take it down. And then later throughout the day, I'll go back through it. Anything that needs to be fixed, I fix it. Anything that needs to be repriced, I reprice it. And then I'll save it as a draft, and I'll put it in my draft bank. And whenever I get done with that, the next thing I do for my list of things I do first thing in the morning is I'll go through and I'll take 5 things out of my draft bank and make them go live. That kind of helps me keep my draft bank up a little bit. Especially like right now, I have a ton of golf clubs to list. However, I'm out. Not out. I have 8 shipping boxes for golf clubs in stock, and I just listed baseball bats, and I don't have enough to list all the baseball bats that I have. So that stuff's just sitting there. I can't list it without having the boxes to ship them. They're not due to come in until the 8th, so I've got another week to wait on those to get here. And I only ordered 25, and between the baseball bats and the golf clubs, I've probably got 100 listings. Hey, Kristen, how are you? But I have like 100 listings just sitting here. I mean, I could draft them, I guess. But I don't like to list things when I don't have the boxes to ship them. So, I've got a lot of stuff here to list, but I can't list it. So I'm a little short on items to list. I've got a bag full of clothing that I've got ready. I've got several pairs of shoes that need to be cleaned. But other than that, I really don't have anything. So working with older listings and taking them down, selling similar, saving them as a draft, and reworking them kind of keeps things rolling. Kristen, do you have to be quiet tonight, or can you come on? I know you've been busy this week. You filmed for Let's Do Lunch podcast. You did the live listing with Angie yesterday, and I'm pretty certain you put out a new Ben's video this week in April. Maybe. I have a lot of medical appointments over the next 6 or 8 weeks, so we'll see, Marie. If I can get up there, I will. Oh, you're editing? Well, take a break. Come on the show for a few minutes. April the 15th. I'll keep that date in mind, and I'll see what I can do. That's tax day. Where is my mouse? I'm running 2 screens, and it's always a little bit of a, there it is. All right, Kristen, give me just a minute, and I will send you this link. Instagram. Let's search. Here you are. Message. Ooh. There you go, Kristen. Huh. Whereabouts is it at, Marie? Hey, here we go. Kristen,
Hey, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Let me see. Can I hear you? There you are.
Ah,
Oh my gosh. How are you? You look like it's chilly where you're at.
well, it's a little chilly out here. I've got my heater going behind me. Uh,
Yeah.
I think it's actually warmer outside than it is inside here,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
it's 43 degrees outside, but I think it's probably closer to 33 degrees inside.
Yeah, we were getting snow today, so it was a little chilly
Yeah.
to here today too. Thanks for letting me pop on.
Oh yeah, we had a little snow off and on the last several days, and then
Mm,
yesterday morning we had some on the ground, but it was gone by lunch.
yeah. I had a whatnot earlier tonight and
Ooh,
it was glitchy. It wouldn't let me run anything. It wouldn't let me sell anything. It wouldn't let me
right.
do auctions or giveaways, anything. And
Well,
it was crazy because it was just going along just fine. And then all of a sudden, it just quit
do
working.
do you have the satellite internet or do you have through cable?
I have, I think it's Comcast.
Comcast, yeah.
I've never had trouble with it, but I think Nashville Flipper was having a show at the same time, and he was like, "Yeah, I can't see anything. I don't know what's going on." It was being glitchy for him too. So,
Yeah, they probably were doing some kind of update and messing
yeah,
everything up.
yeah,
Sort of like what eBay does.
yeah.
I swear, every time they start doing updates, it just and a lot of the stuff they update doesn't need updating. The
Mm.
things that we ask them to update, they don't update.
Well, I think that they said something in there. We got an email that they were working on letting people opt
Promotions,
in to be able to prepay for auction. Like,
prepay for auctions.
yeah, that not prepay, but like be
Have
they
like a credit card on file or something, so
yeah.
when they win the auction, they can.
Yeah, but they had to opt into that. It was like a
Okay.
pilot group that they were doing this with. So it sounded like, wouldn't that be great?
It would be great if it was for if they would do it on buy it nows for people or situations where there's been offers accepted.
Yeah, but the way they worded it, that you had to opt into it. So it makes me
Right,
think that I mean, we do this for a living, so we will be diligent about going in and opting in, but it's that casual buyer that doesn't know that you should opt in that's going to give us trouble later. So
right.
I'm okay. It's a positive movement. It sounds like so.
Yeah, I had a fairly expensive item
Well,
last week sell. It would not one of my watches.
oh, I
It
was going
was
to say
a
because you have more expensive items than just you know a polo
well,
t-shirt.
and I really don't sell that many of them. I may sell somewhere between 5 and 12 of those expensive ones a year.
Okay, okay.
If in a good year, and then I'll sell a lot of smaller ones that are anywhere from $75 to $500.
Mm.
And here lately, I haven't been doing a lot of those because I've just been too lazy to sit down at the bench and work.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, like yesterday during your live with Angie for the listings,
Yeah.
I was working on a watch.
Oh, good.
Still didn't
See?
finish that watch today, so I've got 2 days invested in that watch, and it's still not finished.
Oh, well, I know that what you're doing is different than just like cleaning up a pair of shoes and getting those
Right.
things listed.
Oh,
So
oh yeah.
a little more tedious to get that part done, but still the payoff sounds like it's a little bit better than just getting a pair of shoes cleaned up too.
Well, yes and no. It cost me the watch that I'm working on right now is a Bulova. It's probably from the mid 50s.
Okay.
It cost me every bit as much money in time and materials to service that old Bulova watch that's only worth $100 to $150 as it does to service a Rolex watch that's worth $10,000.
Yeah.
So to put it in perspective, one little bottle of oil, I could probably it's like 10 milliliters. Just a
Okay.
tiny little thing
Yeah.
can cost $75.
Yeah.
the chemicals I use to clean and rinse the watches in the $3,500 ultrasonic machine that I have, a gallon of each, they're $75 a gallon by the time I pay for the hazardous material ground shipping to get them to me.
Oof,
And
man.
it takes 3 cups of the cleaner and 6 cups of the rinse.
Hmm.
So, a $75 gallon, and I can only clean 6 watches before I have to
Really?
change all that out.
Yeah. My father-in-law would clean car parts and like
Uh-huh.
motor parts and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that like the little gears
Mhm.
in the car, same thing, same concept, only smaller for the watches. But
Yeah.
he would clean those things too, and they would get
Yeah.
gross and nasty. And that thing, that
Well,
solvent that he
the
used to
thing
use.
about a parts cleaner with solvent is you can run a pump and a filter, and
Yeah.
you keep reusing that stuff until it just gets too nasty to run through the
Oh,
pump.
it gets pretty
Whereas
nasty. I know that.
when you're talking about watch parts, the little gears are less than half a millimeter thick,
Yeah,
and
big
the teeth
difference.
on them, there can be 3 teeth within a millimeter, and some wheels are even more. So even the lightest residue left behind by dirty cleaning or rinse chemicals can cause that watch not to run. So I, the point of all of this is that it costs me a lot of money to get a watch ready to sell.
Yeah, for sure.
And there are occasions when I actually lose money by doing it.
Mm.
But that's not, it's a fairly rare occurrence. Most of
Mhm.
the watches that I know I can't sell for more money than what it would cost for me to clean it, service it, those end up in they end up like this.
Yeah,
And then they get sorted into these big cabinets behind me as parts movements. So
yeah.
if I have another watch come through that's maybe a better model, but it shares some of the same parts, instead of trying to track down a part for a 50 to 100-year-old watch, I can just go pull one of these drawers open and go pull the part that I need.
My I have my mom's grandfather's watch, and it was a Springfield.
Illinois.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was pretty proud of that, I think, because
Very sought after watches. Back in the day, especially amongst the railroaders.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
the 3 big names were Waltham,
Okay.
Elgin, and Hamilton.
Okay.
But if you were a cut above the other 3, you carried an Illinois watch.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So that's what he had, was a Springfield watch. But I'll be honest, my favorite watches are a Swatch watch.
Swatch watches, yeah.
They are. They're my favorite. I want
Have
all
you
of them.
seen the new Moon Swatch that they released? It's a whole
No.
series of watches, each one based on a planet, and one on the moon and one on the sun. And the idea came from the original Moon watch, which was an Omega watch.
Oh, it
It
was.
was
Okay.
Omega chronograph. That's what our astronauts wore to the moon.
Okay.
Flash forward 15 years, and quartz watch technology was brand new, but it was so cheap and so effective that they nearly destroyed the watch industry for mechanical watches.
Oh.
So Omega went from being one of the world's best watchmakers to barely surviving. Flash
Mm.
forward another 20 years, and Swatch comes along and they sell the little jelly watches.
Yeah, that's what I had,
Super cheap.
the
And they
original
sold a
jelly.
bunch of that. They sold so many of them that they were able to buy out all the big Swiss watchmaking names, including Omega,
Ooh,
which is
see?
how we get the Omega Moon Swatch. So
Okay.
it's an Omega Swatch watch made to look like the original Moon watches, but they're built affordable like the Swatch watches. However, they're very limited, very hard to get a hold of. On the day they were released, they were very limited released. There were people putting them on eBay. They would go buy it for, I think it was $320,
What?
putting it on eBay and selling it for $10,000+ the same day they bought it.
Shut the front door. That's amazing. No, when I was in junior high, and I mean, it's been a minute, but that was the cool thing to have. So
Yeah.
you could buy a Swatch watch for 20 for the little ones and 25 for the bigger ones. So it was, I mean, we would get them for birthday presents and stuff. I bet I have a third of the original ones that I used to have, and we would like make belts out of them and put them around our wrist. We'd have them in our hair and
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, we were
I remember all
so
that.
cool. I had the one that
Somewhere
smelled
I
like
have
strawberry.
it's called the Bunny Sutra.
That's the one that you had? Wait, say that again?
It's the nickname for the watch is called the Bunny Sutra.
Oh,
And
I
it's a
don't know that
Swatch
one.
watch.
Okay.
Well, it's bunny rabbits doing what bunny rabbits do for
Re-
each of the little hour markers.
Oh no, the ones that I have are like I have the plaid one, I have the one that smelled like strawberries, I have the jellyfish, I have a pop swatch. I mean, but these were actually like mine. So
Yeah. If you get
yeah,
a chance, you look up the vintage Swatch bunny watch. And, and
I'm
I bet one of them will pop
I
up.
follow 80s Swatch on Instagram, and then they
Yeah.
they just repost some of their stuff and some of their old ads and things. I just thought they were cool. That's quintessentially my childhood, it feels like, very
Right.
nostalgic. Yeah. But we didn't have fancy watches either. We weren't allowed to wear calculator watches to school because that was
Really?
cheating.
Well,
So
I guess.
and my dad was in construction, so he didn't wear a nice watch except to go to church. So
Right.
he just had like a dollar store Casio. That's what he wore.
Yeah. Well, what started me on this whole road of being a watchmaker is when I was a teenager, my grandfather gave me my great grandfather's Elgin pocket watch.
That's so cool, right? Do you still
Uh,
have it?
I still have it. In fact, I can lay my hands on it pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm all about like heirloom. Hey, Joe, or is it Nicole? Or is it Joe and Nicole? Hey, and GCP, you're here too. And Swamp Picker. Oh my gosh, all the cool people are here.
Yeah,
Christopher Nutter and Ping.
I think I've shown this on here before, Kristen.
Maybe, but I think I
This is
missed
my
it.
great grandfather's Elgin pocket watch.
That's really cool.
And what's really cool, one of the things I love so much about these antique pocket watches, all of them look the same from the outside.
Yeah.
It's a white dial, black numbers,
Yeah.
and a yellow case. But when you open them up,
Isn't that neat?
yeah,
Yeah, that's really cool.
well, I joined the Navy, and early on I was stationed in San Diego for a very expensive school for the advanced technical program to become a metallurgist and work in the submarine fields, repairing and inspecting submarines.
Cool.
Well, here I am in San Diego, and I brought this watch with me.
Uh-huh.
And back then it didn't run. The crystal was yellowed and shrunk and would fall off.
Really? I didn't know.
Very dirty. And I carried it all over San Diego, one jewelry shop to the next, and nobody could fix it. They all wanted to take it, box it up, and ship it off somewhere. And I was like, no, I don't think so.
Yep.
And all these days, I have people from all over the world ship me watches to work off.
Yeah.
But it dawned on me one day, the United States Navy trusts me to work on multi-billion-dollar pieces of equipment. I should be able to work on a 100-year-old watch.
Right? That is intimidating though, because it's so tiny and it's so, I mean, you have to be pretty precise in order to be
Very precise. But
yeah.
what I did in the Navy required me to be very precise. I had better than 20/20 vision back then too.
Well, but, things change, don't they?
But I just started going to we call them flea markets, but down in Southern California, they call them swap marts or swap meets.
Right.
And they had resale stores, junk stores and stuff. And I'd just go around and find little junk watches for a couple of bucks a piece and take them back to base and tinker on them. And one day I actually fixed one.
Oh.
And I've been at it ever since. And 23 years ago, I got lucky and landed an apprenticeship under a master Rolex watchmaker.
That's
spent
good.
5 years with him learning my trade.
Where were you when that happened? Were you in California or were you
Texas? I was back home in Texas by then.
Okay.
I had
Is that
already
where
been
your
working on
family
watches.
is?
Say again?
Is that where your family is?
Yes.
So, are you the only one that got away?
Um, my family has been moving our entire
Mhm.
lives. My dad and all my uncles were in the Navy.
Okay.
So we moved all over the place. And Texas is just more or less home base.
Okay.
But these days, there's nobody left in the military, and everybody's kind of went back home to Texas.
Mhm.
I did for a while. Uh, Luckily, that's when I was able to land that apprenticeship and become a Rolex trained watchmaker. But not long after I finished my apprenticeship with him, I struck out on my own, moved up to Colorado with my wife, and there just was no work there. And while I worked for the Rolex dealership, we had a division of the company that did fundraisers at hospitals. And
Oh,
we traveled coast to coast and border to border, literally 9 months out of the year, going into hospitals, setting up a complete jewelry store, freestanding lit glass cases, a couple of $1 million worth of jewelry, everything from cheap watches and junk jewelry all the way up to platinum and diamonds. I would
wow.
take a jewelry bench with me and I would do all the ring sizings, all the repairs, all the diamond setting, everything right there on the spot while you waited.
That's super cool.
And
And
one
what
of the
what year
places
was
we
that?
did that, and we did that from 2001 to, I want to say, 2015.
Oh, a while.
So I did it for a while, and then the market changed
Yeah.
uh, drastically. Really, in the world of the hospitals, every hospital has a group of volunteers.
Right.
And when you go, they'll be mostly elderly people. They normally run the flower shop, the gift shop.
Yeah.
You'll see them pushing little carts with books and things on them, and they wear like a vest. Sometimes it's pink, sometimes it's blue. But
Right.
they're the hospital volunteers, and they raise money for the hospital, different programs, whether it's Children's Miracle Network was a lot of them, whether nursing uh, education, or if they're having a building, they're rebuilding or adding on. Anyway, they run that kind of stuff, and they're kind of a national convention of people.
Yeah.
We used to go to their national and their state conventions, and all of these people would come together and they'd start talking about what they were doing different than what they used to do. And then there was always somebody really popular. Like say we go to a flip con and we listen to Harry Tornado
Yeah.
and the people that he invites on stage to speak. Well, everybody runs home and starts doing what they were told to do at the convention.
Mhm.
Well, the same thing applies to the hospital volunteer groups. They go to these big conventions. People get up and talk, and they say, "This is how we do it." Well, they're the most popular people, so we're going to go home and we're going to do what they're doing.
Right, for
One of
sure.
the things that they did was they're like, we no longer invite vendors to come in and sell stuff and give us a cut. We go around our own communities and we go to all the big businesses and we just get them to cut us a check.
Wow. Okay.
I'm like, yeah, let me know how that works. Or they get their employees to just, donate money and get
Oh,
nothing in return.
well, so they've got a different plan then.
Yeah, well, we didn't think that would last at all, but we went from being on the road 9 months out of the year to maybe having 9 or 10 shows throughout the year. We used to get in I drove big, we call it the church bus, the big van,
Yeah.
and I drug a big box trailer behind it. We would leave Southeast Texas and we'd be gone for 6, 7 weeks at a time,
Yeah, I
just going
bet.
from city to city, setting up, doing our show, breaking down, move to the next city.
There's a lot of people that do that though. When I did junk stock, which is it's a pop-up
Yeah,
essentially, right? And I only do the one. The people that sat up next to me, they said that they do like 46 a year.
yeah,
46 a year.
yeah,
So they'll be in Vegas and LA and Miami and Omaha. I mean, they're just
yeah,
that's their living. They're just nomadic. And then their home base, I think their home base was in Illinois. So then they were pretty central. They would make the loop and then go back to Illinois and stock up,
yeah.
make the loop again. And I think that's amazing. So how did you end up in Oregon?
Well, we had one of our accounts here,
Okay.
actually several accounts here in Oregon throughout the state. And I'm an old prospector and a miner. I love gold panning. In fact,
Uh,
mine and my wife's wedding bands are made with gold that I mined about 30 miles from here.
you said that somewhere one time, and I was like, no way, that's
Yeah.
super cool. But I couldn't believe that. That's awesome.
But anyway, at this point, I was no longer working directly for them. I was an independent contractor because I had moved out of the city and left the
Mm.
company, but I still worked for them as an independent contractor. I'd go on the road for them, or if they had a special watch that only I could work on, I would work on it for them.
Ah,
And part of my contract was if we're in Oregon, I get 2 days off to go mining. Oregon is like a rockhound's paradise. We have opals, we have sunstones, we have agates, we have
yeah.
jaspers.
But even more than Colorado, did you do any of that when you were out
Yeah,
here?
absolutely.
Yeah, because there's some people that up
I know
high
all
in
of
the
those
mountains.
guys. You remember the TV show they were on? It's called
Yeah,
Prospectors. I know every one of those people.
that's what you said. So, and
Yeah,
we go up that direction kind of a lot just to go check out the cute little towns and stuff like that. And our daughter lived way
yeah,
up there for a while, so
yeah. We lived uphill from Grand Junction. Uh,
uphill from Grand Junction. Okay.
yeah, as you're coming up 50,
Yeah.
and you get to the little town of Delta, which is the
Yes.
last little town before you drive another 40 minutes, and then you're in Grand Junction. Well,
Uh-huh.
in Delta, if you'd make a right on the only right turning asphalt road there is, it would take you up to Cedar Creek, which is about 6,000 feet or
Okay.
halfway up Grand Mesa.
Okay. I know where that is, and it's not far from, oh, now I'm drawing a blank. The name of that town that they go and they do all the bicycle.
Paonia.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that
Yeah,
is
Joe
such,
Cocker lives up there,
oh my
or he
gosh,
did.
such a pretty place up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind
So,
of weird. The first time I went to the Cherry Festival, whatever it was,
yeah.
and you see these farmers coming in on their tractors wearing bib overalls,
Uh-huh.
but they've got a tie-dye shirt on.
Oh my gosh,
And it was
totally. And Birkenstocks. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
they're very crunchy, but I mean, I really like it. So, yeah, we do a lot of, I mean, we check out a lot of places up there, but my daughter, her house where she lived was at 9,600 feet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
up
when you,
there.
that's up there. So it was gorgeous, but I don't live in the mountains. I live, in the foothills. But
When I first
when
moved
were you
out
here?
there, oh God, that's been 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Okay.
So I've been here in Oregon for a little over 11 years, something like that. I
Okay.
was
So
only in,
you were leaving as we were getting here. We've been here
okay.
about 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
when I first got there, the 6,000 feet where the town was at, and the little town is 6,000 feet on one end and 5,000 feet on the other end.
That doesn't surprise me at
And
all,
yeah,
especially over there.
and the little town is only half a mile, three-quarters of a mile long on Main Street.
Yeah. So you're not far from where or where you weren't far from where they grew all those peaches and they had all the
Yeah.
wineries and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. The peach farm
Yeah.
the peach farm was right around the corner. They grow a lot of cherries there, and the Olathe sweet corn.
Yeah.
Olathe, Colorado is right there too.
Yeah. And they say Olathe sweet corn is like
Yeah. Yeah.
super good, but they haven't
There's,
had sweet corn from like Beardstown, Illinois. That's some of the best sweet corn there is. Oh my gosh. Thanks for letting me pop on with you.
oh, yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna buzz out of here so that you can interact with your chat. And I'm
Okay.
gonna keep working on getting this thing edited so that I can get it out yet tonight.
Okay. Well, I'll look for it in the morning.
Okay. Thanks for having me on.
Well,
I'll see
thanks
you
for coming
later.
on. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye bye. Well, there you go, everybody. That was Kristen. Hey, Glenn, I saw you pop in, buddy, and I kind of have a one-track mind. I can't do too many things at one time. Roman, good to see you here, man. Anytime picker Roman is here, Glenn is here. Yeah, I saw that earlier, Marie, where Cincinnati John is he's having another one of his rallies on the boat. I'll have to go back and watch the playback on. In fact, I've got it pulled up here somewhere. And I had to stop watching that to come over here and start this show. I want to come over here and who else did I miss? Denise, good to see you if you're still in here. I'd flip that. Good to see you. Gulf Coast Pickers. Hey, buddy, how are you? I think that's got me caught up. I think I promised to do a little listing at the beginning of the show. I better do something to keep myself from being a liar. I don't want to take after Joey. Y'all can tell him I said that. So let's go right here. Open that up. And let's go down here. I've been listing parts from this KitchenAid food processor all day. In fact, the bowl for it has already sold for $40 plus shipping. And I am going to have to look this thing up. And see what the blades are selling for. I think it's the last part I have to sell. And let's go to, yeah, see, there's 3 of my listings right there from earlier today. Let's go to solds. And there's the one that just sold for, took a best offer of $40 for it. And I bought that and a bag full of clothing, a few other things, a handful of remote controls, which I've already sold one of them for $15 for $24. So that was 2 days ago, Monday. Let's see, there's, no, we need a blade. We are looking for the blade. That's not the right blade. Neither are those. Yeah, these motors don't sell for very much money, but it costs a lot to ship them. So I left the motor in the bins and just grabbed the parts. There we go. There's a blade for $10. Let's make sure they didn't underprice it. Another one for $12. Wrong one. All right, they sell for around $10 to $12. We're gonna take that out of the baseball sporting goods section and we're going to put it in the kitchen. Oh, that looks good. It is used. It is in excellent condition. And need only buy it now. I'm going to put mine for $12.99. Offers turned on. I price up just a little bit. That way I can run my sales and send offers and have wiggle room, so to speak. I'm going to use a flat rate. We're going to put this in a 8 by 6 by 4 box. I'll dial all that in when I ship it. I know it's less than a pound, so we're going to take it out of UPS ground. We're going to put it into USPS first class, and I'd like to do $5.50 flat rate shipping. I do not want somebody coming here just for that. This is very important. If you're going to do flat rate shipping, you need to turn off the Alaska and Hawaii shipping. You need to turn off U.S. protectorates and APO, FPO, which really aggravates me because APO, FPO are military addresses, but it's New York. You don't ship your item to them forward deployed overseas. You ship your item to an FPO, APO section of a postal service at the USPS in New York. And from New York, they turn it over to the military, and the military gets it to where it needs to go. So there's them to charge as much as they do for FPO and APO addresses. I know all of this because I was military for quite a few years. We're going to promote this listing. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but eBay recently raised a lot of final value fees, and it was different for every category. I'm a multi-category seller, and I know that the highest rate for final value fees is in the clothing, and it's just over 15%. I don't like to give eBay more than 20%. If I do, there's nothing left on the bone for me. So, and instead of trying to remember what rate is for each category, I just figure out which one is the worst. And I'll set it to where I'll do my promotions to where the percent that I'm paying on top doesn't take me over 20% total. So 4% puts me at 19 point something at worst case scenario. These campaigns, when you promote, pay attention to that, because during the last update that eBay did, it brings up some weird campaign that I don't know what it is, but I put mine on default. If I don't know what it is, I'm not using it until I do. I might find out later on if that's worth doing. There we go, list it. I've had things show up that there have been occasions where I've had to cancel orders because the last two were the final ones. And I was just like, no, I can't do it. If I could exclude Alaska and leave Hawaii, I would probably do that. But you can only exclude both of them at the same time. You can't separate the two. Shipping anything to Alaska is extremely expensive. And the one before that was a golf club to an APO address, where it was going to be 60 some odd dollars to ship this to an APO address. And I charged a flat rate of $12.99, and the golf club only sold for $20 to $30. So yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of people still make sales without promoting. But the eBay algorithm, which we still can't get them to admit that it even exists, but I have got them to admit they use an AI to run everything. And to me, that's the same thing. And the algorithm is two parts. It's one part computer code and one part organic. So they tell me that if I promote, they will show my items ahead of people who don't promote. And for me, that is a big deal. And I know if you guys are ever looking around on eBay, pulling up listings and looking at them, you'll see towards the bottom half to the bottom third of the listing, there'll be a whole bunch of other items similar or supposedly similar. Those are promoted listings. If you're not promoting, your item's being put in front of a lot fewer eyes. I can bring this back up. We'll go to let's see, orders, all orders. The vast majority of my sales are made through promoted sales. Let's see, I'll come up. And the last update they did, it's no longer in order of oldest to newest or newest to oldest. So it's from most expensive to least expensive. And let's see, sold via promoted listing, sold via promoted. That one got canceled. That one is not. So sold via, there it is. That one also got canceled. Promoted listing, promoted listing, promoted listing, promoted listing. That one thankfully wasn't. That one wasn't. That one was. Guys, easily 90% or better of my listings are sold via promotions. or at least they tell me that because they get their cut. Yeah, I don't like the coupon thing. For the simple fact of sometimes I list things at the bare minimum just to move it. And if somebody comes along that has one of those coupons, I'm losing money. I just don't want to chance that. But the promoted sale and promoted listings and running sales, they work for me. And I don't use the sales as much to sell things as I do to red flag older listings for myself to make it easier for me to manipulate them, whether it's delist them and get rid of it, or delist them, sell similar, and put it in my draft bank, change it up, whatever I need to do. I sell a lot on offers too, but if they click on it via one of the promotions, one of the little ads, either up in the header or off of a Google search or whatever, if they click on that, it's still a promoted sale, even though it's on an offer. I use both. And I don't know if everybody here saw it or not, but last month I showed the difference between being a top rated plus and how it helps you make more sales. And part of that is having offers turned on. And we can do that again. Let's see, 1923 peace dollar. It's a very common silver dollar. So there's going to be a lot of them. There's 6,400 plus silver dollars that from 1923. The design is called the peace dollar. So if a buyer does this search, it's going to bring up 6,400. Buyers are going to want to narrow that search down. So what they can do is they can come in here and they can click on accepts offers. And it just went from 6,400 plus down to 2,200 plus. And they can also narrow this down by, well, let's go ahead and do it this way. The US only, that's a given. That took us from 2,200 plus. We're still at 2,200 plus. Now, here is the kicker. To be top rated plus, you have to offer free returns. Look what's right here at the top of the list, free returns. That is one of the things they can use to take it from 6,500 down to 2,200. And now we're down to 782. So if you are top rated plus and you use all the tools that eBay gives you to sell your item, you just cut out 90% of your competition. I'm not the only buyer that does this. Lots of buyers do it. If a lot of people weren't doing it, eBay wouldn't make it available. So keep that in mind. When there's something out there that eBay offers that you're not using because you don't like it or you don't understand it, research it. You may come to find out that you do like it, because I didn't used to accept returns at all, much less give free returns. But I like being top rated plus and promoting, because it puts my stuff ahead of everybody else. And it puts my stuff on this short list right here. Close to 7,000 listings down to a little over 700 listings. I'm in the top 10% of the people in the world who have this kind of thing listed. And my stuff gets seen first. Take it for what it's worth to you. But that's what it's worth to me. Yeah. Well, the only reason I use those things is because buyers, potential buyers, if they run into something that's super popular, and we all look for the super popular things because they move, people are buying them. If I want to get rid of as much of my competition as possible and put my item on the short list, I have to strive to be top rated plus. I have to turn on offers. I have to offer free returns. From there on, the best thing you can do to stand out from the rest of the crowd is have a good title with good keywords, good pictures, good descriptions. None of that costs you anything. The rest of this stuff costs you. But at the end of the month, or you get some of that money. If you're top rated plus, they give you a discount. Depending on how you look at it, you either get a 10% discount off of all your final value fees, which if you're paying $1,000 or more a month in final value fees, that's $100 back in your pocket. Some people say, well, that's only 1% of the total. Well, still $100 in your pocket every month. And you can turn best offers on. Doesn't mean you have to accept any offers at all. But turning that best offers on puts your item on a shorter list. Like I said, you don't have to accept offers. If you do catch one, just turn it down. Say, look, I've got a higher offer that I'm considering. If you want it, pay full price. It enters you into the negotiations at the very least. And it puts your item, even if you don't accept offers, it puts your items on a shorter list. I just got a message on the lid for the processor. More pictures of. I'm not sending more pictures. That's one of my least favorite things about eBay is getting questions about an item. You take plenty of pictures under good lighting, and they're like, well, I want more pictures. No, I'm not sending more pictures. Good night, Tina. Thanks for coming in tonight. Now, for somebody who showed up tonight with no plan whatsoever, we sure have covered a lot of ground. Had a really good guest. I had like 100 things I wanted to ask her, and she somehow turned it around and got me to talking about me. She's good. Oh, excuse me, but I am going to have me a little bite of chocolate. It's my dessert. It's cold when your chocolate is crunchy. There we go. It's hard to find Girl Scout cookies around here in my area. I think they set up at one of the grocery stores in one of their front door alcove type places. And I've noticed that over the last few years, the Girl Scout cookies have really changed. I don't know if they change manufacturers or what, but King, North Carolina. I don't know if I ever told you this or not, but I used to live in Jacksonville, North Carolina. My heater ran out of gas. No wonder it's getting colder in here. I'm going to close the valve on that bottle. Be right back. I knew it was getting close, but I thought it would last long enough to do the show tonight. We did. We talked about me living in North Carolina. Man, I've got a terrible memory. 40 up where you're at, Marie. It's 40 here also, but it's actually colder in my building, or was until I turned the heater on, but now the heater's gone off and it's getting colder outside. So folks, we may have to end it right here. I think it's been a pretty good show tonight. Got a lot done, did a little listing, had a good, had Kristen on, and she's always great. But hey, I appreciate everybody for being here tonight, and we'll see you guys next week. And I may have another good guest for next week. So you guys tune in next Wednesday. Good night, everybody. Good night, Glenn.